And we only go through, in this course, we only go through chapter 11 or 12, if I can remember, and then if you take the second half of this course, that's when you use the rest of the book. Okay? So you have been charged for it. Getting into it and logging on and registering, all that is your responsibility to make sure that you have that, because all of your homework, exams, assignments, quizzes, all that is done through your Blackboard, through Cengage. Okay? So if you can't get in, then you need to probably contact Cengage, because I can't get you in, and get yourself familiar with it, because it is very important, obviously, since your total grade will be coming from the Cengage platform. Yes?
Yes, ma'am. We had Cengage packages all last semester, semester before. It's just gonna be available to us. We don't need to go back and re-register or...
I think you do have to re-register every semester. I'm not 100% sure about that, how that works. But you've been charged an amount in your tuition for this fall.
Okay, far as going to, I already forgot.
Yeah.
Bookstore or whatever, any receipt that will have a particular product code that we have to enter?
No, so no product code.
Okay.
You have, has anybody logged on yet and through Blackboard?
I think I tried, but I don't think I had to re-register. I didn't try, like, clicking on an assignment, but it showed all the assignments.
Okay.
But I don't know if I had to register.
Yeah, you have immediate access once you log in to Cengage, because they have this course keyed in to their system, whereby it has linked you to this class if you've registered for it.
Okay.
I do not know how that works, but that's what I have been told, that there should not be any effort on your part unless you have never had a Cengage account. Then you will have to go on and create one, and with your student ID, et cetera, it will somehow link all of it. You know, I wish personally that I just had all of y'all just go out and buy a book, but that's just not the way it works anymore. So.
Oh, quickly, calculator requirements, the TI 30XA,
I don't care what you use.
that'd be more than sufficient.
More than sufficient. Accounting, by the way, is not a math class. So if you can add and subtract in your head, you're probably good for this class. So, math is a very, very small part of accounting, even though everyone thinks that's what it is. And of course, we'll get into that as the course proceeds. Does that make sense to everybody? It truly is just, if you can add and subtract, you've got more math skills than needed for this class.
Good.
Yep. I promise. Okay, so everybody good on your textbook? Annabelle, are you good? You can just give me a thumbs up. Okay. So if you have any questions on that, there is a link, and once you get familiarized with the Blackboard shell and the course, if you are already in some other courses, maybe you've already seen this, we're kind of redeveloping them to be uniform, in that in your Blackboard on the left, there's a little link and it says instructor information, and in that particular link, there's a link to email or message me, okay? And that's the only way to access me while you're in Blackboard. When you get on there and look at your syllabus, just tell me your name. Ruby. When you get into Blackboard, you're going to see another link called Syllabus and Schedule, and that Syllabus and Schedule contains the PDF copy in its entirety of your syllabus. It also just has some snippets that are important, like the textbook and things of that nature. But then there's also a PDF link to your entire schedule if you like paper, if you like to have it printed there in front of you, and it tells you all the due dates of every assignment that you have for the class. Okay? So, I'm going to start now just with the syllabus, just kind of highlighting some points for you. If you want to log on to your Blackboard while you're sitting here and go along with me, that's great. If not, just print it out, and then on Wednesday, bring any questions that you have on it. But again, well, I guess I haven't even started this. My name is Vanessa Robinson. I'm your instructor for the course, and you will, of course, be contacting me with any questions on the course. And on the syllabus, you have my phone number, my office hours. I have office hours directly before and directly after this class, so that you don't have to make a special trip up here on a day other than Mondays or Wednesdays to get in touch with me if you need to, okay? And then, of course, by appointment. If you need to make an appointment, you have to do that well in advance to make sure that my schedule's free, number one. Number two, we've got a place to meet. Right now, I'm avoiding my office because of this COVID thing. I definitely believe that it's still very contagious, and so I would rather prefer to meet you in a classroom versus my office where I have about 2 feet, okay? So, sorry about that, but I am paranoid, and that's rule number 2 that I'm fixing to go over. If you're sick, you feel like you're getting sick, you look sick, do not come here, please. That's like my big pet peeve. I don't care what else you do. Your phone can ring, you can sit there and text all day, you can do whatever you want to, but don't come here sick. Your neighbor doesn't want it, but number one, I don't want it. And I'm number one. Just kidding. I tell that to my husband all the time. It doesn't get me very far, but, you got to try, right? So, truly, don't come if you're sick, because whatever is going around, whether it's either COVID or whatever else, in a room this size with this many people, because we do have a full class, is probably contagious. And I don't want to see y'all dropping like flies, okay? And again, I don't want to drop like a fly either. So be respectful. Don't come. You will not be penalized for it. There's no attendance grade attached to this class. So if you're not here, it's not going to hurt you. But you will hurt somebody else in the class, potentially. Okay? So that's my number one rule about anything that we do. Don't come here sick, or if you think you're getting sick. So that's just general realm of courtesy, and COVID has made that, and I have preached that since the first year I've ever taught here, and COVID didn't do anything except reiterate the fact that truly you walk around sick, you're going to get people sick, and I think now it's pretty obvious that that is the case. So don't do it. I'm just begging you. So I've even gone so far in years past, and I'm not doing it anymore because, we've got all kinds of issues now, but I used to give extra credit if you'd go buy a jar of vitamin C and bring it to class and show me you had it. Now, whether you took it was a different story. And for a flu shot, go get one, Of course, now we've got tons of issues with vaccines, so I'm not even going to say that, but venture out at your own risk, right? That's what everybody should be told. Okay, and of course, email is probably the most efficient way to get hold of me, because in some form or fashion, I usually have a phone or a computer in front of me, and so I usually respond to that the quickest, just because that's where everybody lives their life. So be sure you spell my name correctly. If you're emailing me directly from just your regular SPC account, there is no N in my last name. It's Robinson, or some people pronounce it Robinson. It is not Robinson, okay? And if you send it to V. Robinson, somebody's getting it, we just haven't found them, okay? So they can't forward it to me. Okay, so again, you are in accounting, and that's what we're going to be learning. It's a process, it's not math. So if you're scared of math, then you should be fine in here. If you're scared of processes, you'll probably be scared in here, so just kidding. You'll be fine, I promise. Attendance, after the first 12 days of class, which will be all of this week, all of next week, and then 1 or 2 days of the third week, I stopped taking attendance because we're not required to, and it's not a part of your grade. So you come if you want, you stay home if you want, But if you don't do your assignments in Cengage, that is what will make you fail the course, or succeed in the class, whichever way you look at it. But, accounting is my thing, so if you're not here, you're missing out, I promise. You'll be missing some key points that you're gonna want to have when you're doing homework, et cetera. I am a practicing CPA, I still have a small tax practice, and, it's been my life since the day I graduated from college. So, I've been around the block a few times, and I hope I know what I'm talking about. So, you'll want to be here, hopefully. So, but there is no penalty if you are not here. There will be a penalty, though, if you stop doing your assignments and your homework online, your quizzes, your exams, because you will not have the requisite number of points to pass the class. And when that happens, I can't help you. If you haven't been coming or staying in contact with me, it's just not going to be to your benefit. You are responsible, and only you. I will not initiate any drops for you in this class. If you decide that it's not for you, that, you know, I'm going to take this another semester, you don't like me, you know, whatever the issue is, if you want out of this class without an F, then you have to initiate the withdrawal with admissions and records, not me, okay? And that's just another new rule that we have at South Plains College because we've had a change in the way our administration is overseeing that, and so I will no longer drop anyone for lack of doing their assignments, for lack of coming to class. For any reason, I will not drop you, okay? That will be your responsibility. So I just want to make sure everyone understands that. If you quit coming, you quit doing homework, et cetera, by the time grades are due for me the second week in December, if you don't have enough points to pass, then guess what? I don't have any choice but to, you know, assign the F. So, and you don't want those on your transcript. They do all kinds of things to your financial aid, to your GPA, you know, you name it. It's just not a good situation. Okay? Let's see. Most of this in your syllabus truly is just institutional statements that we have to put in. Let me just tell you a little bit about what you'll be doing in your homework and your exams, that type of thing. First of all, we also have a new service this semester with South Plains for tutoring. If we have free tutoring available. We have very limited accounting tutors, though. And in fact, I think we might have one that comes to this campus, and I'm not sure what their schedule is going to be, but the tutoring facilities, everybody know where that is? Over on the other side of the building. You can go in there and check what the schedule is for the person that will be assigned to our campus. And my guess is that person will only be here available for tutoring, I don't know, a very low number of times a week because they're in high demand, accounting tutors. Now, if there's someone in here that you feel like you've got a handle on this and you are really excelling in your homework, et cetera, we do have a new program. I can't remember the exact name of it, but we could sign you up to be what we call like a mentoring classmate, and you actually get a little bit of student aid added to your package for that if you feel like you're interested in that, and then you can schedule times with your classmates if you want to. And believe it or not, that's actually where the majority of the help that students seek after. There's almost always one or two of you that the light bulb goes off really quickly, and they're there to help you. So if that's something that interests you, you see me when you get to that point. And Annabelle, I think Trini Merriquin used to tutor out at the Plainview Center, and he is phenomenal. If you can hook up with him, he's just a really great tutor. So he just doesn't live here in Lubbock. Sorry, guys. But another new service that we have is tutor.com. I don't know if any of you are instructors, if you've had a class yet so far, but you have 180 minutes a week of free tutoring through tutor.com. I have zero idea how that works as far as having an online tutor in accounting. Maybe for history or English, something like that, I can see where it would work pretty efficiently. I'm not sure how it's going to work for accounting, but I have a feeling they've got tutors, you know, maybe around the country. I have no idea. If someone logs on and tries it, let us know. You know, the most successful way to get ahead in this class is to kind of network with each other and figure out what's working and what's not. I mean, I'm available to help you, but what you hear me say in class is what if you come to my office, the first thing I'm going to ask you is, did you read the material? Number two, show me which homework items you're missing. I'm not going to redo a lecture in class, in my office when I just did it in class. Does that make sense? Believe me, I've had that situation happen before. So, obviously, I'm here to help. But obviously, there's going to be times where you may need more than just me answering a simple question for you, okay? So, to talk about that then, let's talk about what is going to be required of you. You're going to have a quiz and homework for every chapter that we cover, okay? And we will cover chapters 1 through 5, and then 7 through 11, I believe it is. The first 4 chapters tend to give everyone the most problems. And then there's one other chapter in the second round that of testing that will give you some issues probably. But you have got to stay on top of it from the very beginning. Accounting is definitely one of those academic courses where, like I just said, some of you, the light bulb is going to go off immediately. You're going to get it from day one, and you're going to breeze through. And then the majority of you will have to really work at it. I do not know why that is, but accounting is a very unique little subject that, again, some people just get it immediately, and then the majority of people do not get it. And I think that reason is because, and my husband is one of them, he teaches economics on the Reese campus and this campus, and he had to have 12 hours in accounting to complete his graduate degree, and literally, this is absolutely no exaggeration, by the hair of his chinny chin chin did he get through those 12 hours of accounting. In fact, I know he made C's in all of them. He didn't care. He just wanted his credit so he could, get his degree. But we were dating at the time, all this stuff, and I would help him night after night after night. And obviously, he was intelligent enough to get through economics, but he could not get through accounting. So y'all tell me, what do you think the reason that would be? And I was just the opposite. I had to have 12 hours of economics, and by the hair of my chinny chin chin, I almost didn't make it. So why do you think the two, obviously we both know our profession, we know what we do, but there's that mental disconnect there between people that think scientifically versus people that think very logically.
Economics is cyclical and accounting is linear.
I don't know that.
I don't.
Because I'm not a scientific person. I don't even know what that means. So I think it has to do with accounting is very black and white. And my husband always had to have a reason for things I told him he needed to do or steps he needed to take. He wanted a reason for all of those things. I can't give you a reason. It's just whoever developed this in the 1600s, literally, it's been around since that time. And so if you're a good rule follower, like if you stop at all the stop signs or stop at all the red lights and obey the speed limit, you're probably going to do really well in here. But if you're one of those that want to push the edge a little bit and try to, scoot ahead to homework that you haven't even read the material yet on, you probably don't have a chance of being able to do it. And that's the way I was with eco and all kinds of different classes. I was not a big reader, and so I'd like to kind of cheat my way through, and I don't mean cheat by copying somebody else's work, but forget the reading, I'm just going to do this. Didn't work most of the time. And accounting will be one of those. You have to follow the steps that, again, have been around for thousands of years, and they have not changed. And if you want to make them differently than they are, the rules of engagement, so to speak, then you're probably not going to succeed. But if you're a great rule follower, then you will succeed, if that makes sense. If you're a black and white thinker, you're gonna do great. If you're one of these that have, like, say you've got kids and they have the most elaborate birthday parties ever, you probably are not gonna do well in here, because you're too artistic. You think too hard. And see, my kids had horrible birthday parties, so, I'm in the right profession. You'll also figure out that I have a very odd sense of humor, so. But that's what happens when you're an accountant. You don't have a lot of places to go with accounting, so, you know, you kind of get stuck in your little box. Okay, so in those, every time you have quizzes, homework, etc., after the first 4 chapters, you're going to have, again, a quiz and homework, and what's called an adaptive study plan, which is just preparing you to take a quiz and do the homework. And all of those have to be completed. I would complete them before I took the exam. Points are attached to each one. You have as many attempts as you want on the first 3 quizzes, the study plan, and the homework. The exam, you only have 1 chance, though. So if you can kind of visualize in what you're going to do, those 3 required assignments are preparing you for the exam. If you don't do them, you're probably not going to be able to complete the exam, okay? So exams are about 29 to 30% of your course grade. Quizzes are about 30%. The adaptive study plan is about 20%. And homework is around 20%. It's pretty evenly distributed. But again, the exams, you only get that 1 attempt, which will, if you haven't done the other stuff, 30% of your grade. If you're not doing well, you can see that that would bring you down. So you have to treat the homework as if you need to schedule a time each week that you're going to work on it, because it does not go just super quickly. Okay, Chapter 1 it may, because there's not any accounting processes that you're learning in Chapter 1. You're just learning some basic theoretical and knowledgeable things about accounting. The rest of it starts getting pretty technical, and so you do have to allocate a little bit more time for Chapters 2 through 11. Okay, but schedule time. Don't let it get away from you, because chances are you won't catch up if you get too far behind. There are due dates that you'll see, of course, when you log in or on the schedule in Blackboard, and those due dates are very important. That's part of being in college, is learning to abide by due dates and getting you ready for the workforce. Not many places that you work do you not have some kind of deadline, even if it's just showing up to work on time. So it's important that you submit them on time. I am notified every time there's an outage in Blackboard or that type of thing, so I know if I had a due date on, say, a Tuesday. Everything's due on a Tuesday, by the way. No weekend due dates, no end-of-the-week due dates. Tuesday seems to be a pretty good day for everybody, that you're a little bit more back in the groove once the weekend is over. And it's not keeping you from starting an early weekend if you want to. So everything's due on a Tuesday by midnight. And if you're 1 minute late, it doesn't take your work. You know, that's just, again, part of the deadline thing. So my biggest piece of advice is, do not wait until 10 o'clock on Tuesday evening to start your homework. Chances are you won't be able to complete it successfully. Okay? So start on Monday at 10 o'clock if you have to, but don't start on Tuesday at 10 o'clock. Because also, if there's outages with your internet or your Wi-Fi or your computer, if you've got problems, I can help you at 10 o'clock on Tuesday night. If there was a Blackboard outage, I will allow an extension of time if I am notified that Blackboard did in fact incur an outage at that time. Even Blackboard outages are very uncommon, especially in the middle of the week. Sometimes on the weekends they do some maintenance and stuff, but not typically during the week, okay? So I've heard all the excuses, I've heard all of the reasons why, blah, 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 blah. Yours won't be any different than probably anyone else's. Now, if you have a legitimate concern or issue, or you have doctors note that you do have COVID, or you actually did have a relative pass away and you were out of town for a funeral or whatever, then I do consider those, but you need to have some legitimate paperwork for me to, keep it open for that period of time. What was I gonna say? Just, what right by me? Oh, the biggest issue I would say to you, or one of the biggest pieces of advice, is get ahead. Always be ahead. Don't be struggling on that last day or two of the week to get things done, because the entire course is open to you right now. Some instructors don't do that. They open it up a week at a time to you, and so you can't get ahead, really. Well, you can in this class, and I would highly recommend it, because some chapters will be more difficult than others, and you maybe want to have a little bit more time. Of course, the material, you'll need to hear me talk about it a little bit possibly before you get started, but you can always get ahead. Like this week, you can finish chapter 1 probably tonight or tomorrow. It's that simple, if you, get your ebook out and read it. And of course, you and I both know you can have all your books and notes available when you're doing all this stuff. So there's no one looking over your shoulder to keep you from doing that. But again, main thing is to stay ahead, not behind. Don't start at the last minute. It can really bite you if you let it. So, because accounting will not be like any homework that you've had. It's definitely different. You have to really work at it, okay? So, I want to encourage you, everyone can be successful, but you've got to put the effort in that it's going to require to be successful in accounting. Most people are petrified of accounting, and I don't want you to be petrified. It's a great academia course, and it's a great career. So if you can just get ahead of that ball game, you're going to be fine. And also, there's times when we start getting to some of the topics, I will alert you, hey, go and Google some YouTube videos on this, because my way of teaching it may be completely different than someone that has done some professional videos online, and all of a sudden you click with them. That's great. There's some guys that have dedicated channels just to the elements of accounting. And whatever it takes, get your hands on that material that helps you, okay? So, I'm really not difficult at all, as long as you do your part. After so many years of teaching, you know who is not pulling your leg as far as the help that they need or the work that they're putting into it. Does that make sense? I think that's pretty evident. So, do your best, and I'll do my best to make sure that you're successful too. If you complete every single assignment, exam, quiz, etc. for the semester, at the end of the semester, I will add 2 points to your grade point average. So if you're like sitting on an 88 for the semester, and you have done everything that was assigned in Blackboard, or in Cengage, then you're going to get an A. Because to me, that shows effort. You made the effort to make sure that you stayed on top of all of the material and did all of the work. So I don't ever like to give someone a B with an 89, but I will if someone has not done all their work, and they could have had their A very easily if they had just finished it. Does that make sense? So that is always a definite advantage. And then you've also, in your Blackboard, when you get on, you'll notice that there's an introduction and syllabus summary assignment. You just go on to discussion board, introduce yourself, and then you summarize the syllabus a little bit for me, what you think were important points. Post that, and you'll get 10 extra points right off the bat just for doing that. So there are some benefits for, of course, being here and doing what's assigned within Blackboard, okay? Let's see, technical problems, I've got all kinds of notations, and the biggest thing is just to email Blackboard at something, I can't remember. There's a email address at the bottom of the intro page for Blackboard telling you where to get help if you're having Blackboard issues. I can't help you with your computer. I can't help you with technical issues because, to be honest, I'm clueless myself. If it doesn't work on my machine, I have no idea what to do. So, And my kids get on to me for using it. It's not a machine, Mom, it is a computer. So, if it's not on my computer the way it's supposed to be, I can't do it, so. Okay. Let's see, open computer labs, we've got them everywhere. All campuses have a computer lab that you can go to, and in the event that you don't have a laptop or yours breaks or, whatever, they are available here pretty much all day long here on the Lubbock campus. We've got more than one computer lab, actually, so you can find a place to sit at a computer and get it done if you need help with that part of it. I think they're actually open here until maybe 8 o'clock in the evening. Does anybody know? Semester by semester it kind of changes, but you should be good. Let's see. Can't think of anything else material-wise. Yeah, here's the percentage here. You're going to have 10 assignments in the adaptive study plan, 10 homework quizzes, 10 regular quizzes, 4 exams that will come after you complete, like the first exam is after the first 4 chapters. And then there is a comprehensive final. It's worth 50 points only. It's only like, 8% of your grade or whatever. And if you're happy with the number of points that you have when the semester ends, the last exam, you don't have to take the final. If you're within that range that you're happy with your grade, you can choose at any point in time not to take that comprehensive final. The rest of them, I wouldn't advise not taking them because they make up too much of your grade and it will come back to haunt you at the end of the semester.
Oh, so basically the final is like an optional booster.
I wouldn't call it a booster, but it's optional in the event that if you've got the sufficient points that you want, say for an A or a B or C, then you don't have to take it. It's not mandatory.
Right.
So, but it's not built in to give you extra points, so to speak. It is calculated in the total points. There are penalties for being late. If you do happen to turn your assignments in late, if you click after 11:59 p.m., then it will assign a 10% late penalty to you. Kind of like those penalties you get when you don't pay your bills on time, or, time is a big deal in society, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately. So, pay attention to dates and times. Put them in your phone, whatever you have to do to make it work for you, be cognitive of those due dates. Life is just full of deadlines. Also, Blackboard and I have got a link in your, I can't remember which, I think it's in course content maybe, or one of those things at the very bottom. I've got a link to a video talking about the Blackboard calendar. Have any of y'all ever used it? It's a tool that's built into Blackboard, across the country, that there are features in Blackboard that a lot of people don't know about. Blackboard is so sophisticated that the majority, including myself, really just tap into a part of it to be able to use to get through a class. But there's this function in there called calendar. And you access it through right under your name, I believe. There's a link to add it if you want it. And what it does is it takes all the courses that you're enrolled in that are on Blackboard, that the assignments have been gauged through there and have due dates attached to them. It preloads them to a calendar just for you that tells you on this day you've got this due, on this day you've got that due. So you can always go into your calendar and see what's coming up for that particular day or week. It's really a great little tool. And the little link that I have posted in your Blackboard course is a video of someone that describes exactly how to add it and the functions that it helps you. It's a very powerful little tool for someone that struggles with dates or has too much on your plate. That's me. I've got so many things going on that I need something to help me at all times keep track of where I'm supposed to be at what time. So, and I can imagine if y'all are working and you're going to school and this isn't your only class, it is hard to keep up with all those deadlines and due dates, but that's just, again, part of being in college, unfortunately. Just wait till you're not in college and real life is lots worse than this. So, just kidding. Okay, any questions from y'all on, anything accounting related?
So you're saying we're meeting Wednesday as well. On my testing tonight, it just says this was Monday.
Oh, really? Is that what everybody else has said? Interesting. Okay, so, I think there was a conflict in that. It was scheduled to be Wednesdays only, but I thought they had changed that, but obviously they did not. And so what will happen is, Mondays, and this is gonna happen probably in potentially a lot of your classes, because we're kind of regrouping after this COVID thing. And just so that you know, in the event that, we get shut down again potentially, if cases start skyrocketing, then it will go strictly to online again. And I'll be posting videos online for lectures. We don't anticipate that, but you know, we didn't anticipate any of this from the very beginning. So, just because that happens doesn't mean this class ends. Does that make sense? You're still gonna be responsible for all this stuff. So on Mondays will be and it always has been this way, is my long lecture day. We will start the lecture promptly at 12:40. I know the class starts at 12:30, but because we've got Plainview involved and we've got recordings involved with, they're recording through this whole system, we will start the lecture at 12:40, so between 12:30 and 12:40, I take attendance and answer any just random questions, not accounting related necessarily, maybe just you specifically in the course related. And then from 12:30 to the end of class, it's gonna be heavy lecture. And so Mondays will be the key day, and for those of you that created your schedule to fit this way, it'll be the only day I'll probably see you. Wednesday will be light lecture, like kind of cleaning up maybe some things you didn't understand on Monday, and possibly answering some homework questions. And that's the way we handled it, this is fall, in the spring as well. And it worked really well.
My schedule says it's Monday only.
Okay, and that's fine. You don't have to show up on Wednesday. What's your name?
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Saline? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Is this the right place?
Are you at accounting?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you're in the right place.
Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Do we have an empty seat? Yeah, couple. So, I guess I should have looked at that. Mondays only, I will be here on Wednesday, let's put it that way. Whether you come or not, that's up to you. I will not cover new material though, for those of you that only come on Mondays. Does that make sense? If you don't come on Wednesday, you're not gonna be behind. Does that make sense?
So it'll be at the same time?
Yes. But I will be here in the event that you want to come.
To be clear,
Wednesday,
But,
Wednesday will be like a glorified tutor day.
well, I'm not so glorified, but I will help you.
so to be clear as mud, section 271, 1301, please finish, this class will be meeting at the exact same time on Wednesday.
I will be here. We will not cover new material on that day, because the schedule says it's a Monday only class, but I will be here to reiterate anything someone didn't understand on Monday.
Okay.
Okay?
Did you think we had time for those Wednesdays?
Same
At
time.
the same time?
Mhm.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry for walking in late.
That's okay.
Never again. First day call.
We're all good. Everybody has, those first day
Yes,
problems, don't we?
ma'am.
First world problems. We've all got them. Any other questions? Yes?
Yes, on all those assignments here, the adaptive assessment, the quiz, and then homework,
Yes.
are those all open notes, we can have a book out while taking notes, stuff like that?
I mean, I will cover the chapter in its entirety. As far as the main material, but there probably will be some things in your adaptive study plan, your quizzes, and your homework that we didn't necessarily, that came out of my mouth. So, but they will all come from the book.
I'm just saying, like, when we're taking those online, we're able to have, like, other stuff up.
Oh, yeah.
Notes.
Yes, yes. You don't have any restrictions on, tools that you wanna use, resources that you wanna use. I don't have any of the, I think there's a program out there that some instructors put on their, when you're taking exams, what's it called, where it's proctoring you?
Oh, Montana Valley and stuff.
Yeah, I don't have any of that stuff. So, I mean, if you're gonna, you know, if you wanna sit there and take your exam and have access to anything you want, that's between you and God, not me, okay? So, but I'm encouraging you to do that. I mean, I'm encouraging you, the only thing I don't encourage, or and I know it happens, but I would never condone it nor advise it, is to let someone else take your exams or your quizzes or your homework, you know. I mean, I had one student one semester that came to me after class one day and said, so-and-so offered me a lot of money if I would just do their course for them. Well, it happens, obviously. So, and it's not just at South Plains College. That's the big issue with online anything, is that happens a lot, as you can imagine. But as when I first started doing some online work with my accounting courses and offering the exams and stuff, I tried all that stuff about keeping people from being on another website while they're taking the exam, all these things that were supposedly inherently good for monitoring and proctoring, but there's always, where there's a will, there's a way, and it just wasn't worth the headache that it created for the students that were really trying to make a good attempt, you know, just to get through the class, and it wasn't worth it for me to spend all of my time fixing those issues because someone's computer messed up in the middle of all of it, you know. So you're on your own as far as honesty is the best policy, but I do want you to have your resources. I don't want you closing your book during homework. I don't want you closing your book during quizzes, and the problem you'll run into with the exam is it's going to be timed, and you got that one chance. And so if you haven't done homework and quizzes and all that kind of stuff, chances are you're not going to be able to finish it in the time that's allotted because you're not familiar enough with it. Does that make sense? You just can't do it. Whereas if you've been doing your quizzes and your homework, etc., then you've got a good enough handle on it. By the time you get to the exam, you're probably going to see some of the same questions that you've already done. So I would not recommend walking in cold turkey to an exam without having done any of the stuff, because it's just unique enough in accounting that you have to know what you're doing. And if you haven't been doing anything, then it's right then and there, it's going to catch you real quick, because it is timed. The rest of them you can do as many times as you want to. And I encourage you to do that, especially if you're struggling with a part of it, because what it will do is it will regenerate questions that you have not seen yet, which is one of the reasons why I really like the Cengage package, is that it does give you practice after practice after practice if that's what you want to do. You're going to see question after question after question that you didn't see before, if that makes sense. So, not trying to scare anyone off from accounting, because it's used in every single business in the world. There's not one business, even John Doe's little lawn service, that doesn't have to have some form of record keeping financially. Would you all agree with that? Yep, it's going to be there, and whether you realize it or not, everybody has to do it. It's just how are you doing it? And so this is the prescribed method that, again, has been around since 1600 BC. I mean, it is BC material, and it, believe it or not, the fundamentals of it, the basis of all accounting systems, has never changed over all of these thousands of years. How many other processes or whatever you want to call it in this world today have been around that long? Maybe English and some language points, but not many of them can say that the process used and learned is still in place in every accounting system in the world, no matter how sophisticated it is, whether it's by hand or on a computer. The same elements that we'll learn in chapters 1 through 4 are there still today. So I hope you all get something out of it. It's not just all about academia. This is about to some of you, if not already, will become small business owners in your lifetime. And everyone, I believe, even in high school, should have walked out with a small accounting or budgeting class or something. And we're going to kind of, if you didn't have that opportunity in high school, this is where we're going to kind of address a little bit of that. And again, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm not going to tell you how many years, because then you'll know how old, really old I am. But I've seen it all, if you can imagine, over all these years.
So you have been a small business owner.
Me? Oh.
If I have, that's gonna really give me a good basis of this class.
It won't give you a good basis for the class,
But,
it will be applicable to your small business.
oh, okay.
Because everybody runs their business different. I think the air went off, or is it just me? Y'all freezing? I'm burning up? That figures. That'll be the first thing I'll do when I walk in the doors, fix the lights, fix the air, so.
Yeah, I have a question. When will we be able to, register for these textbooks?
Okay, I'll talk to you after class.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, any other questions? Okay, so between now, well, we don't meet on Labor Day. The entire campus is closed a week from today. Everybody know that? That Labor Day is around the corner. Wednesday, I'll be here, and if you've got issues on getting, access to anything or have some issues right off the bat. But between now and, again, be sure and log on and see your due dates. I think the only thing that you got have due by September 7th is the introduction board, discussion board, which is no accounting stuff, it's just introducing yourself, et cetera. And that might be it. Maybe some homework on chapter 1, but I don't even think that's due until the 14th. I'm not sure. So this course really, it moves, you'll think it's moving quickly, but it really isn't. I mean, you've got at least 1 to 2 weeks for every chapter minimum. Okay? So there's plenty of time as long as you dedicate some time to it. You've got to dedicate it to yourself. You got to treat the homework as if it's a class in itself. And that's the whole intent of why we started doing it, the hybrid, meet on Monday, because the homework is a little bit more time consuming, and you do need to have some time to work on it. Okay? So, and you're welcome to come up here and work on your homework, you know, from the 12:30 to 1:45 class time, whatever we've got on the schedule for it. And that way I will be here if you've got questions. I'm not going to do it for you. I'm not going to answer quiz questions for you. I'm not going to answer exam questions for you, but I'll help you understand where to go, what to do, how to get there. Does that make sense? As any instructor is not going to sit there and do your homework for you. Any more questions? Okay. We will be done for today, and I will see whoever wants to come on Wednesday, great. You're absolutely not required to. I will not be going over anything new on Wednesday. Huh? Oh, it's just light. Yeah, bring a jacket. Yes. And there is a picture online too that I've got in your Blackboard course. Okay, so this course is linked in your Blackboard, or has a Blackboard platform along with it, of course. And so you need to log on, and there is in the Start Here information possibly, or in the course content tab, it gives you all of your information about the fact that it's through Cengage, and you've been charged that in your tuition,
Okay,
whether you realize it or not.
okay,
And you should have instant access to Cengage right now.
okay.
And if you're in any other classes and have already logged on with Cengage, Yes, no?
I don't know what Cengage is.
It's the learning platform that's where you'll do your homework and your quizzes and all that stuff.
I have my computer with me if you're willing to.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanna, log on, there's a link to, I think. I don't know how that's gonna work.
In the Blackboard, you have that link in there.
Okay, yeah. In Blackboard, there's gonna be a link in the course content, and it says click here to go to your homework and assignments, and you'll just have to create a Cengage.com account, all that student account.
I'm overstaying my welcome, right?
No, I do have a meeting at 1:30, just on the first day, which is,
Oh, shoot.
That's okay.
129, you probably don't.
Would you like me to email the attendance sheet?
yes, that'd be great.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.